Welcome back. It is Sunday, January 14th in the NBA. My three best bets are on the way. Let's recap yesterday, a 2-2 day, but man, it should have been much, much better. Let's talk about it. Julius Randle under 32.5 points. Pretty free. He ends with 22 points. Even Brunson didn't play. Didn't matter. Fred VanVleet under 17.5 points. Told you the Rockets were running into the buzzsaw. Celtics free. He ended with 5 points. The two losers pissed me off. Let's talk about Jalen Johnson first, over 25.5 points plus rebounds. Yeah, the Hawks are banned, man. They're losing by 30 to the Wizards. I can't bet another Hawks prop unless they lower the lines down to like 10.5 for Jalen Johnson, but I'm just not doing it. The team just doesn't know what they're doing. They need to blow it up. Now, the Klay Thompson under is the one that really pissed me off because that was a line we took at 19.5 points. Steph Curry then gets ruled out due to rest. Thanks for that. And I was like, oh, man. Line bumped up to 21.5. And once you know, Klay ends with 21 on the dot. Shoots the most times he has done this season. He shot 23 times. He sucked yesterday. The problem was he shot 23 times, I think 17 three-pointers. Eventually he was going to make some of them. He can't go 0 for 23. And he ends and makes like two of his last three shots to go over in the last couple minutes. That one, frustrating. But either way, I'm not going to worry about it. A 2-2 day, losing a little bit of juice. It could certainly have been worse. And today we're bringing out the leather jacket. Do I need to wear this? No, I'm in a hotel room. It's not that cold. But we're changing up the vibes, changing up the momentum. Leather jacket, if we go 3-0, it's coming back tomorrow. That's just how it works. Maybe the vibes are just good for the leather jacket. But we're going to dive into today's picks. It is Sunday, so there are a couple NFL games on. Now, the Steelers and Bills game was moved to Monday. I'll talk about that a little bit in Monday's edition of NFL Best Bets, which should be live later on today. But we did have a play in that game. But I also have a play, I think 3 plays now on Sunday. So go check out the NFL videos. Not only do we have our Best Bets video, we also have our Parlays video, which I've been smacking pretty consistently. So go check out both of those videos posted yesterday. But you guys gave me first NBA picks. It is a Sunday slate. There's only 5 games on, and I will be in attendance to one of those games. That is the Timberwolves and Clippers game tonight. I have a pick in that one, but we'll save that for last because we're starting with the first guy that I really love in a bounce back spot, Anthony Simons, over 26.5 points plus assists, minus 120 on BetMGM. Now, I would love this at 27.5 too, if that's what you got to take. Individual line points is probably the way to go for Simons. And I don't think there's really anyone questioning Simons' talent, although the last few games haven't been great for him. I think this comes down to how close can they keep this game, because you look at Simons, he is under this in 3 straight. He has had 15, 16, and 8 points plus assists. Now, the 8, unacceptable. He did go 0 for 10 from the field in that game. Yeah, that's not great, but they have also lost those 3 games by 28, 62, and 23 points. Now, Anthony, as a result of getting blown out, has only played 27, 20, and 29 minutes. If these games are closer, Anthony probably sees closer to 36 to 40 minutes. And while I'm not saying, hey, the Blazers are going to keep today close, I think they got a chance, and here's why. Blazers have been on a crazy long road trip. They're on a 6-game road trip, and this is actually their first home game in 2024. So they're going to face the Suns. Sure, the Suns are better than them. I'm not saying the Suns are worse than the Blazers, but Blazers have been really good at keeping games close at home. And I'm not saying they win this game outright, but if this game is even remotely close to 10 to 15 points, which is the spread is 10.5, then we're going to see Simons out there a ton, and Simons is going to be one of the reasons that they can keep the game close. And the Suns just, I don't buy into them being a great defensive team. With Bradley Beal and Booker out there and Grayson Allen, I don't really trust them a ton defensively, especially to slow down a high-usage guard like Anthony Simons. When we look at Anthony on the season, averaging 22.8 points per game and 4.9 assists per game, that's 27.7 points plus assists. In fact, Simons over this line in 10 of 17 games, and all 10 games he went over, all it required was him playing 30-plus minutes. And all 7 games he went under, he did not play 30-plus minutes. So I look at Simons been really, really good at home. Why? Because they're keeping the games close. He's over this line in 6 of 7 at home. The one game he missed, he only played 22 minutes because he was returning back from injury on a minutes restriction. But the Blazers have a lot. I mean, coming off 3 straight games where you weren't even competitive, you didn't even have a chance at winning, coming back home in front of your home crowd, I expect them to give out their all. Every effort they got is to go out there. And I'm not saying they win this game, but I think they try and keep this one close. They played the Suns earlier this season at home. Granted, Beal, I don't think played in that one, but they actually beat them by 5 points. And Simons, 23 points on 23 shots, did not shoot well, did have 7 assists and went over. Look, if this game is even remotely close-ish, Simons probably goes over this pretty easily. And while I'm not saying, hey, Portland keeps it close, I still think that Simons could have crazy usage. And he's coming off an 0 for 10 game. I mean, any NBA player that missed every single shot they took, and they took 10 shots, probably going to come back and try to be pretty aggressive in that next game. So I really like Anthony Simons. I know we lost, I think, 1 or 2 times in a row on him, but I'm not too worried about it. Back at home, I think this is a good spot to back him. Obviously, if he goes under today, I'll have to reassess, and if they get smoked, I'll probably reassess it. But I think the volume's there. I think they keep this game close. Anthony, really love you. Go over 26.5 points plus assists. Now, my second pick is going to be another points plus assist prop. It is Malik Monk of the Sacramento Kings, over 20.5 points plus assists, minus 118. on FanDuel. Now, I would play this at 21.5. However, I do need to note this right now. Right as I record this, when I typed up my write-up, Malik Monk was only available on FanDuel. And that's not necessarily a surprise because Monk is typically a guy that does come off the bench. Now, every book should release a points plus assist prop later on in the day for Malik Monk. That should not surprise anyone. He should get a line. I mean, this is a guy that plays a lot of meaningful minutes. It's not like he's a bum off the bench that plays like 15 minutes. You're like, please, please, please give us a line. No, he plays a lot of minutes and he's going to get lines. It just might take a little bit of time depending on what book you're using or if you use like a PrizePicks or Underdog Fantasy. Now, the Kings honestly have realized they need to play Monk more. I mean, Kevin Huerter sucks, and he might not even play. And outside of them, I mean, you think about the guys that are scoring the basketball for this team. You got Sabonis and Fox in the starting lineup. Sabonis not a great matchup going against the Bucks with Brook Lopez and Giannis down low. And Fox has really not looked good recently. Then you got Harrison Barnes, who's literally fallen off a cliff, which he kind of deserved that. No, I'm sorry, that was ladder talk. Keegan Murray, obviously he's hit or miss, not very good on the road. And also, this, we talked about catch and shoot guys against the Bucks. Not a great matchup for that. Now, Clay, I don't even want to talk about that. But outside of that, their bench hasn't been great. And so at the end of the day, they need Monk out there a ton. And as a result, the last 6 games, you look at Monk, 46, 24, 11, 29, 24, and 19 points plus assists. So gone over in 4 of 6. You look at his misses. One of them, he only played 21 minutes. They lost by 33. Obviously, even though he is off the bench, he's not playing in a blow up. And then the other one, 27 minutes. So he did play well, play a lot of minutes. Ended with 19, 2 points short, shot 5 for 17, and was 0 for 7 from 3. Now, the thing is with Monk, if he plays 25, 30 minutes, we got a pretty good chance of hitting this one because Monk is a guy that's not afraid of shooting any shot. Even if he is 0 for 7 from 3, he's still firing him up there. And I like when he bounce back after going 0 for 7 from 3 and 5 for 17 from the field. And as we always say, take your guards against the Bucks. Now, people are going to say, but didn't you just fade Klay Thompson? Look, Klay Thompson is a catch and shoot guy. I wouldn't have faded him had I known Steph Curry was out, but either way, because I knew he would have fired up 20 shots. This is just annoying, but either way, I'd say fade your shooting guards in terms of guys that are just catch and shoot, but that's not Monk's game. He maybe makes like 1 or 2 catch and shoot threes a game, but that's not really what he does mostly. It's mostly, hey, he might catch the ball, but he's driving to the hoop and get to his spots. And heck, I like when they close out on Monk hard because that means he's got a free lane to the hoop or a free lane to passing it to one of his teammates for a wide open look. And Fox has really not looked good recently. So with a spread at 5, I look at this game as being a pretty competitive one. Obviously, the Bucks are on a back-to-back. They might play Chris Middleton the first half and bench him the second half, but the Bucks back-to-back, likely not playing a whole lot of defense. And also you get the Kings on the road. I think this is a close game with the rest advantage. I think this one's close, over under 247.5. Should be a lot of points and assists to go around. Like I said, Kevin Huerter is questionable. Obviously, if he doesn't play, that would be nice, but I'm not really worried about him. He's kind of fallen out of the rotation. So I really think Malik Monk's in for a pretty good game. His lines on FanDuel were 15.5 points and 5.5 assists. So we were getting a pretty good discount at 20.5 points plus assists. So we'll take it. Minus 118 on FanDuel. I think Malik Monk's in for a pretty good day. Now, my last pick is going to be in that Clippers-Timberwolves game, the one that I will be in attendance to. Now, I have not bought my tickets, but when I do, which will probably be about a couple hours before tip-off, I will tweet them out. So if you happen to be going to the game, you definitely can come say hello. I love meeting you guys. And hopefully you can come say hello if you're in Minnesota and going to the game. That'd be awesome. But my last pick's actually going to be on the other side, though. Right now, as I record this, there are no lines for the Timberwolves except for Anthony Edwards, and that's because he's the one guy that is questionable. Obviously, if he doesn't play, those lines void, but they're not going to put out like cat props or anyone else props if he doesn't play. Obviously, praying that Ant-Man plays because I want to see him in person. If he doesn't, whatever, that would probably be a good end to my NBA trip because we already had the Bucks blowout game, and man, I want to see Ant-Man, but hopefully he plays. Let's talk about a Clipper, though. I like James Harden over 14.5 points, minus 120 on BetMGM. No unders today. This is my third and final play of the day. Now, I would play this at 15.5. Obviously, most books will give you the ability to do 15 plus points, so you still can get that over 14.5, mostly regardless of what book you're on. It could be more juice, though, but I really think the Beard's going to drop 15 for me in attendance. Now, I won't want to root for him too loud because Minnesota fans might not love that, but I think Harden's got a good matchup here. Now, like I said, I don't know if Anthony Edwards plays, but I don't think it really matters here because we look at who's going to guard these guys. You're probably going to put Jaden McDaniels on Kawhi Leonard. If I had to guess, that's probably who goes where. He's their best perimeter guy. Next up, on Paul George, probably going to put Anthony Edwards. That would be my guess. I mean, you could put Ant-Man on James Harden, but I don't think that's really the matchup you want. Instead, I think we're going to see Mike Conley on James Harden. I'll take that. Now, you could say, hey, why don't you put Conley on someone that's going to sit in the corner? He might be a defensive liability. You could, but then you're relying on Karl Anthony Towns to guard someone that's on the wing or something like that. And I don't think that's really what they want to do. So I think we see James Harden with an advantageous matchup. And even if he doesn't have the best matchup, this is not, Timberwolves are obviously a very good defense. He's still been really good. You look at the last 22 games, large sample size, all of these really since Westbrook moved to the bench. Harden has averaged 18.5 points per game. Playing really well, 15 points or more in 16 of 22 games. That's 73% of the time. And I also look at a weird trend in his field goal attempts. I don't know if he's doing this on purpose. It is James Harden. He is a little bit of a weirdo. But you see, since the start of 2024, look at these games. He has scored 15, 22, 8, 15, 19, 14, 11 points. So over about half of those games, 3 of 6. Now, a couple of those games, you look at his field goal attempts. Very weird. You start in January 1st game, you have 8 field goal attempts. Then 13, then 7, then 13, then 8. Then 13, then back to 7, and then today would be that next game. I don't know if he's consistently going, hey, I'm going to shoot 13 times, but next game I'm shooting 7 or 8. Then I'm going back to 13. I don't know. It's Harden. He does weird things, and he could just be doing, if he shoots 13 times tonight, then I'm convinced he's doing it on purpose, because sometimes, you look for games within the game, and that could maybe be what he's doing. But even if he doesn't shoot, 13 times, he's still fully capable of getting to the line. We know how good and talented James Harden is at getting to the free throw line. I just think this is a good spot for him. He's going to have to be aggressive scoring the basketball, because Minnesota is a team that allows the second fewest assists per game in the NBA. So not a lot of assists going around there. I think he's going to have to shoot the basketball. And if he shoots 10 times, which, like I said, I can't guarantee he does that, is when he has shot 10 times, Oldest line in 15 of his last 18 such games. So look at this spread. We got a 1-point spread, which probably means it's a blowout, because that's how it feels in the NBA. But I think the Beard has enough volume today to go to 15 plus points. I don't love the matchup for Kawhi Leonard or Paul George. I think the James Harden will have a pretty solid matchup with those guys, taking the better defenders away from them. I really think he's got a good chance to put up the volume, and I think he could easily get us 15 points. So I'll take James Harden over 14.5 points. Watch him cash in person, but still going to be rooting for the Timberwolves and their fans to get a home W. But those are my 3 favorite picks of the day. Anthony Simons, point plus assist. Malik Monk, points plus assists, and James Harden, just his points. I don't love his assists today, although we know he can easily go out there and get 10, 15 assists. So you could certainly take points plus assists for him. Just don't love that matchup for him. So those are my 3 favorite picks of the day. Reminder, NBA videos live on the screen. We got a parlays video right here, and we have our best bets video on Sunday right there. Go check it out. We've been doing really well in the NFL. Went 1-1 yesterday on some garbage, but yesterday was just a juice out day. But I'm really like the 3 picks I got today, given that the first one in the Steelers-Bills game was postponed to tomorrow. But I will have my NFL picks for Monday posted a little bit later today, so stay tuned for that. It's Austin signing out. Leather Jacket, bring us some good vibes. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.